So my grandfather had a heart attack this morning, and he died. And I was there because it was my fault. It was 110% my fault. This is not the grandfather that was a serial killer. That was my other grandfather. This grandfather was the nicest man I think I have ever met in my entire life. Ever. We used to say that he was like the Pillsbury Doughboy because he was just so jolly and giggly and innocent. And I've been taking we have a bunch of old videotapes that we used to record when I was a kid, of me when I was a kid, and they're all on these VHS tapes. So I've been converting them into digital files so that we will have them forever because the tapes are starting to deteriorate. And so I was showing my grandfather, he wanted to see the pictures of me, and it was, me as a baby, my sister as a baby, and so recently I really have not been active in a physical sense in a very long time. It's been a number of years. And so I sort of got very, I don't know, I just became very, I went inside my shell with regards to all of that stuff. The idea that I would even go on a date, I would be using Hinge and just scrolling through people. And then even if I would match with somebody, it would be like, I don't see any universe where I actually go out with this person. Like, the idea of me initiating a date with somebody and then going and then talking about crap to the point where we would actually be close in any sort of relationship at all was just completely unfathomable to me. And it just seemed like it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. So I sort of just kind of considered myself closed off to all of that. I figured, well, I had a good run while it lasted, but it's not something that I need for the rest of my life, physical intimacy and romantic type stuff, because I've been focused on my career lately and it's been going very well, and so I just sort of figured I don't really need that part of me. And that's always when, somebody just falls right out of the woodwork, Seems like that's always what happens. Every time my friends would tell me, oh, I can't find, I'm trying to date, I can't find anybody, and it's hard. I'm like, well, you've got to get to the point where you genuinely don't want it anymore. And then once you get there, then you're going to meet, somebody right in that moment. So I wasn't really expecting it. But I don't know, this was kind of a boring story, but I reconnected basically with somebody that I had known in high school who I used to always have a crush on. And she was kind of part of the cool squad at that point, in high school. So I figured, well, she's not going to look my direction. But we reconnected recently over Instagram, and, we were talking and all that stuff. And basically, long story short, I finally got to a place where I was comfortable enough to sort of go into to pursue that sort of physical intimacy type stuff, albeit, you know, it's long distance, so we're both long distance, so it was all text based and video based and photo based. So I never really did that kind of stuff before, but it started to become really fun, you know, taking videos and photos of myself, you know, that are dirty, you know. And one in particular, basically, it was a big step for me, you know, because this is really out of my comfort zone. I mean, it's a very vulnerable thing to do, you know, send yourself a video, send somebody a video of you, you know. I don't think I can say what the video was without getting in some kind of issue with the community guidelines, but basically try to imagine the dirtiest possible video you could ever see somebody take of themselves. That's what it was. And whatever you're thinking is probably right. Yup, it's that. So, I don't know, like, I remember years ago when I was in high school, like, you would get a calculator app, like a fake calculator app, and then you would put in numbers in the calculator and it would open up to the secret folder of videos and photos. But I'm an adult, you know, I'm a grown man. I can't be doing that kind of stuff. So what I would do is I'd have them on my phone, and then after a couple days, you know, I'd delete them. So it was like they were kind of rotating. But my grandfather came over this morning, and, you know, because he comes over all the time, he lives close by, and we were talking about stuff. We were talking about Trump, that whole thing last night that happened with Trump. Oh my gosh. And I'm so lucky because my grandparents are normal, so they're not, you know, that they have pretty rational politics, which is good. So we were talking about that, and I talked about how I was doing the video converting thing. I was converting all the old videos, and I was saying, you would not believe some of the stuff that's on there. There's you and I reading a book together. There was a video of him, and I'm sitting on his lap as a little baby, and he's reading, I think it's one of those I Spy books or something. And I'm crying now, but I was crying too when I first saw that. And I took a video on my phone so that I could show it to him. So I told him this morning, Grandpa, you have to see this video that, God. You have to see it's really adorable, this video of you reading the I Spy book to me. And he said, oh, I would love to see that. Oh, you know, and the thing that just really breaks my heart is just he was so happy, and he was so happy to be watching that video when I showed it to him. I mean, his eyes lit up, and he was going like this, and he was like, oh. And he was crying. He started crying, and I started crying, and he told me, you have turned into the most wonderful young man. I am so proud of you, because when you were a little boy, I always knew that you were special, and I always knew that you were going to be something amazing, that you were going to make us all proud. And you have. And I said, Grandpa, I love you. And then I got some stupid notification. I don't even know what it was, but it was a sales call or something. I don't know. It happened so fast because all of a sudden I was out of the photo gallery in the middle of the video, in the middle of our tender moment. And so I was like, oh, this damn thing. And all I was trying to do was go back into the photo gallery to reopen the video, but it was, I went back in and it was frozen and it wouldn't go, and I was trying to scroll and unmute it and it wasn't working, and so I said, sorry, give me a second, and I just closed out of the Photos app, so that I could reopen it. So I reopened the Photos app, and the first thing that came up, it happened so fast. All of a sudden that video came up. It's a very graphic video. I am literally at the camera like this, and it's, on the camera basically. And so as soon, it's a short video, so by the time my brain processed what was happening, I was like, oh my gosh, it was already too late. The damage had been done. He saw the whole thing. And so I was like, oh my God, Grandpa, I'm so sorry. And I was trying to scroll out, and I felt like hot. Do you ever get that embarrassment and where like, oh crap, I cannot come back from this? It's like all of a sudden it's like you're on fire. And I heard him in the background going like, oh. And I was like, oh, Grandpa, I'm so sorry. I know. And I just thought he was really shocked, and he was like, oh my gosh, because that's kind of what he was doing. But then it was like, oh, and then it turned into like, and I was like, Grandpa! And I've never seen somebody have a heart attack before, so I didn't really know what I was like. I knew something was wrong, obviously, but I didn't know exactly. I don't know what to do. So I just real quick, I said, hang on a minute. And I got my mom, and I said, Mom! And she said, what is it? And I said, something's wrong with Grandpa. And he is like, on the sofa. And she said, oh my God, what happened? And I said, I don't know. Because I can't tell her what happened, so I was like, I don't know. I was just showing him photos, and then this happened, and I don't know what happened. And so she said, did she call the ambulance? And I said, no. And she said, why not? And I said, I don't know. I'm sorry. I just don't know. It's all happening so quickly. And so I went on my phone to try to call the ambulance, and the video was still going. And so I was just like, oh my gosh. And I closed out of it and then called the ambulance, and they took forever to get there. They took like 7 minutes. What good is an ambulance if the person's dead anyway by the time they get there? And I mean, part of me is trying to tell myself maybe it was just an astronomical coincidence, but it wasn't. I know that video killed him. I just have to hope that maybe, I don't know how death works. Maybe because it was the most perfect possible last moment we could have shared together up until the last 2 seconds. So the only thing I can hope is that, maybe when he died, he just saw it, and then like his brain short-circuited, and so they'd cut off that part of, he just wasn't aware that it was happening. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just hope the very last image he saw was not, my thing coming at his face. This is what I get. I just feel so stupid. Because I've never done that type of stuff. I never do that type of stuff. And it was already so embarrassing to begin with. It's so humiliating to send people stuff like that. Even if you trust the person. Because it's just like, this is just, this. I'm so gross. Why would anybody think that I'm attractive? I'm so disgusting. I'm so disgusting. And I'm a pig. I'm a disgusting pig. And because of that, I killed my grandfather. Because I'm a disgusting pig. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I hope you're still proud of me.